Pope Leo XIV is the 267th successor of St. Peter. He was born Robert Francis Prevost on September 14, 1955, is the current head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City State. He was elected during the papal conclave on May 8, 2025, following the death and funeral of Pope Francis. Born in Chicago, Illinois, Prevost dedicated his early clerical career to the Order of Saint Augustine. This video covers the theology of the tradition and order of Augustine. May this order bring you closer to God and encourage you to faith, hope, and love. Introduction. The Order of Saint Augustine traces its spiritual lineage to Augustine of Hippo, 354 to 430. From its formal founding in the 13th century, the order absorbed Augustine's themes of grace, love, and interiority and organized them into a full Catholic theology proper, and the Trinity. Augustine's God is the one simple reality in whom every creature lives and moves, yet this unity is eternally tripersonal. Father, Son, and Spirit are co-equal in essence and distinguished only by relations of origin. Augustine's psychological analogy, memory, intellect, will, serves to show that relation belongs within divine simplicity itself. Western theology also took from him the conviction that the Spirit proceeds from Father and Son, the filioque, because the Spirit is the subsisting love that unites them. Thus God is charity in act, not a solitary first principle. Christology. The one divine word became fully human without ceasing to be God. In Augustine's concise formula, remaining what he was, he assumed what he was not. All that Jesus did or suffered is the act of the single divine person, so Mary is rightly called Theotokos. Christ's humility cures human pride, his obedience retraces Adam's disobedience. His passion pours charity into human hearts, forming the totus Christus, head, and pneumatology. The Spirit is both the inner bond of the Trinity and the indwelling gift in believers. He is the love of Father and Son, the soul of the Church, the interior teacher who illumines Scripture and empowers virtue. Grace in Augustinian language is nothing less than the Spirit himself present and active, anthropology and original sin. Humanity was created in grace, able not to sin. Adam's fall stripped that grace from the race, leaving intellect darkened, will weakened, and desire disordered. Each person is born without original justice and therefore needs baptism. Yet the image of God, reason, and the capacity for love remains. Augustine describes the restless heart that still longs for the vision of God even while wounded. Grace and salvation. All salutary good is caused by prevenient grace. Justification is not a legal fiction, but God making the sinner righteous by pouring charity into the heart, Rom 5:5. Human freedom is healed and elevated, not erased. Predestination is unconditional election to glory. Reprobation is God's just permission that some remain in their chosen sin. Grace can be sufficient yet resisted or efficacious and victorious, winning the will through a stronger attraction to the good. Merit is God crowning his own gifts. Ecclesiology and sacraments. The Church is the mystical body with Christ as head and the Spirit as soul. Unity under the successor of Peter is non-negotiable, a lesson hammered out in Augustine's struggle with the Donatists. Sacraments are visible words that confer the invisible grace they signify. Baptism removes sin and seals the soul. The Eucharist is true body and blood, and also the sacrament of ecclesial unity. Believers receive what they are. Penance restores charity after grave sin, requiring at least an initial love of God. All 7 sacraments function as channels of the one grace that is the Spirit. Mariology. Augustine hailed Mary as Mother of God, ever virgin, and exempt from all actual sin, leaving open that she might have been preserved even from original sin by an abundance of grace. Later, Augustinians championed the Immaculate Conception. Mary's obedience makes her the new Eve and model disciple. Her role always points to Christ and magnifies God's mercy. Moral theology. Virtue is well-ordered love. Charity forms all virtues. Humility is their foundation. The law diagnoses sin. The new law is the Spirit who enables its fulfillment. Concupiscence remains after baptism, but is not sin unless consented to. Augustine's moral program is realistic about struggle but confident in grace, urging continual conversion through prayer, fasting, almsgiving, and the sacraments. Eschatology. History is the arena of 2 loves forming 2 cities. At death, each soul meets its particular judgment. The just may need purgatorial purification, the damned suffer eternal loss of God. The final resurrection will manifest God's mercy and justice publicly. Augustine interprets the millennium of Revelation 20 as the present church age, so no earthly utopia is expected before the parousia. Epistemology. Credo ut intelligam. I believe in order to understand. Faith opens reason to divine truths. Reason then deepens faith. The mind grasps eternal truths by participating in the divine light, a theory of illumination that safeguards certainty against skepticism. Knowledge and holiness are correlated. Charity purifies the heart and clarifies vision. Historical trajectory and dialogue with other schools. Medieval Augustinians like Giles of Rome and Gregory of Rimini fused scholastic method with Augustinian content, often emphasizing will over intellect and grace over natural powers. They supplied strong papalist arguments in politics and defended stringent teachings on grace against Pelagian currents. During the Reformation, the order produced both Luther, who left, and Seripando, who defended Catholic doctrine at Trent. In the Jansenist era, Cardinal Norris and others distinguished authentic Augustinianism from rigorous distortions, a position later approved by Pope Benedict XIV. While Thomism dominated official curricula after Leo XII, Augustine's influence reemerged in the 20th century, shaping ressourcement theology and Vatican II's communion ecclesiology. Today, Catholic thought typically synthesizes Thomist clarity with Augustinian interiority. Conclusion: Augustinian theology offers a Christ-centered, grace-saturated, love-driven vision of reality. God is simple yet eternally relational, never a pre-relational monad. Creation's goal is communion with the triune God, achieved through Christ, communicated by the Spirit, lived in the Church, and consummated in the beatific vision. Across centuries, the Order of Saint Augustine has kept this warm, experiential wisdom at the heart of Catholic tradition, showing that the answer to every restless heart is the God who is love.